The Golden Gate Bridge is a suspension bridge spanning the Golden Gate, the 1-mile wide, 1.6 kilometers, strait connecting San Francisco Bay and the Pacific Ocean in California, United States. The structure links San Francisco, the northern tip of the San Francisco Peninsula, to Marin County, carrying both U.S. Route 101 and California State Route 1 across the strait. It also carries pedestrian and bicycle traffic, and is designated as part of U.S. Bicycle Route 95. Recognized by the American Society of Civil Engineers as one of the wonders of the modern world, the bridge is one of the most internationally recognized symbols of San Francisco and California. The idea of a fixed link between San Francisco and Marin had gained increasing popularity during the late 19th century, but it was not until the early 20th century that such a link became feasible. Joseph Strauss served as chief engineer for the project, with Leon Moiseeff, Irving Morrow, and Charles Ellis making significant contributions to its design. The bridge opened to the public on May 27, 1937, and has undergone various retrofits and other improvement projects in the decades since. The Golden Gate Bridge is described in Frommer's travel guide as possibly the most beautiful, certainly the most photographed, bridge in the world. At the time of its opening in 1937, it was both the longest and the tallest suspension bridge in the world, titles it held until 1964 and 1998 respectively. Its main span is 4,200 feet, 1,280 m, and its total height is 746 feet, 227 m. The Golden Gate Bridge is an iconic suspension bridge that spans the Golden Gate Strait, connecting the city of San Francisco with Marin County in California. One of the most famous landmarks in the United States, it is celebrated for its distinctive Art Deco design and international orange color. Key facts. Construction. Built during the Great Depression, construction began on January 5, 1933, and the bridge officially opened on May 27, 1937. It was completed ahead of schedule and under budget. Engineers and architect. The design was led by Chief Engineer Joseph Strauss, with significant contributions from engineers Charles Alton Ellis and Leon Moiseeff. The signature Art Deco styling and the international orange color were chosen by consulting architect Irving Morrow. Scale. At the time of its completion, the bridge had the longest suspension main span in the world, at 4,200 feet. Its two main towers rise 746 feet above the water. Name. The bridge is named for the Golden Gate Strait, the entrance to the San Francisco Bay from the Pacific Ocean, which was named in 1846. Purpose. In addition to carrying U.S. Route 101 and California State Route 1, the bridge accommodates pedestrians and bicycles. Tolls are collected only for southbound vehicle traffic. Design and color. Aesthetics. Irving Morrow's design included the bridge's signature Art Deco features, such as the streetlights and railings, which were chosen to allow for unobstructed views. International orange. Morrow selected the bridge's vibrant orange-vermilion color to complement the natural surroundings and ensure high visibility in the frequent fog. The color was originally just a sealant primer, but it was so well liked that it became the final color. Safety and engineering. Innovation. Chief Engineer Joseph Strauss implemented innovative safety precautions during construction, including the use of a movable safety net. The net saved 19 workers' lives, who became part of the Halfway to Hell Club. Ongoing maintenance. The Golden Gate Bridge is continuously maintained by a dedicated team of painters to protect it from corrosion caused by salt from the fog. The original concrete deck was also replaced with a lighter, stronger steel deck in the 1980s. Movable barrier. In 2015, a movable median barrier was installed to separate opposing traffic, reducing head-on collisions. Golden Gate Bridge, suspension bridge spanning the Golden Gate in California to link San Francisco with Marin County to the north. Upon its completion in 1937, it was the tallest and longest suspension bridge in the world. The Golden Gate Bridge came to be recognized as a symbol of the power and progress of the United States, and it set a precedent for suspension bridge design around the world. Although other bridges have since surpassed it in size, it remains incomparable in the magnificence of its setting and is said to be the most photographed bridge in the world. It carries both U.S. Route 101 and California State Route 1, Pacific Coast Highway, across the strait and features a pedestrian walkway. The bridge's orange-vermilion color, suggested by consulting architect Irving Morrow, has a dual function, both fitting in with the surrounding natural scenery and being clearly visible to ships in fog. At night the bridge is floodlit and shines with a golden luminescence that reflects off the waters of the bay and creates a magical effect. Its construction, under the supervision of Chief Engineer Joseph B. Strauss, began in January 1933 and involved many challenges. The strait has rapidly running tides, frequent storms, and fogs that made construction difficult. During one such fog on August 14, 1933, a cargo vessel collided with the access trestle, causing serious damage. Workers also had to contend with the problem of blasting rock under deep water to plant earthquake-proof foundations. A movable safety net, innovated by Strauss, saved a total of 19 men from falling to their deaths during construction. However, the safety net failed on February 17, 1937, when it gave way under the weight of a scaffolding collapse. Of the 13 men who were on the scaffolding, 1 jumped clear, 2 survived the fall into the water, and 10 were killed. 1 other worker fell to his death during the construction, for a total of 11 worker deaths over 4 years. The bridge opened to vehicular traffic on May 28, 1937, under budget and ahead of schedule. The main span, 1,280 meters, 4,200 feet, long, is suspended from 2 cables hung from towers 227 meters, 746 feet, high. At midpoint the roadway is 81 meters, 265 feet, above mean high water. Until the completion of the Verrazano Narrows Bridge in New York City in 1964, it had the longest main span in the world. Before the bridge was built, the only practical short route between San Francisco and what is now Marin County was by boat across a section of San Francisco Bay. A ferry service began as early as 1820, with a regularly scheduled service beginning in the 1840s for the purpose of transporting water to San Francisco. In 1867, the Sausalito Land and Ferry Company opened. In 1920, the service was taken over by the Golden Gate Ferry Company, which merged in 1929 with the ferry system of the Southern Pacific Railroad, becoming the Southern Pacific Golden Gate Ferries, Limited, the largest ferry operation in the world. Once for railroad passengers and customers only, Southern Pacific's automobile ferries became very profitable and important to the regional economy. The ferry crossing between the Hyde Street Pier in San Francisco and Sausalito Ferry Terminal in Marin County took approximately 20 minutes and cost $1 per vehicle prior to 1937, when the price was reduced to compete with the new bridge. The trip from the San Francisco Ferry Building took 27 minutes. Many wanted to build a bridge to connect San Francisco to Marin County. San Francisco was the largest American city still served primarily by ferry boats. Because it did not have a permanent link with communities around the bay, the city's growth rate was below the national average. Many experts said that a bridge could not be built across the 6,700-foot, 2,000-meter, strait, which had strong, swirling tides and currents, with water 372 feet 113 meters deep at the center of the channel, and frequent strong winds. Experts said that ferocious winds and blinding fogs would prevent construction and operation. Most maps and signage marked the bridge as part of the concurrency between U.S. Route 101 and California State Route 1. Although part of the national highway system, the bridge is not officially part of California's highway system. For example, under the California Streets and Highways Code 401, Route 101 ends at the approach to the Golden Gate Bridge and then resumes at a point in Marin County opposite San Francisco. The Golden Gate Bridge, Highway and Transportation District has jurisdiction over the segment of highway that crosses the bridge instead of the California Department of Transportation, Caltrans. The movable median barrier between the lanes is moved several times daily to conform to traffic patterns. On weekday mornings, traffic flows mostly southbound into the city, so 4 of the 6 lanes run southbound. Conversely, on weekday afternoons, 4 lanes run northbound. During off-peak periods and weekends, traffic is split with 3 lanes in each direction. From 1968 to 2015, opposing traffic was separated by small, plastic pylons. During that time, there were 16 fatalities resulting from 128 head-on collisions. To improve safety, the speed limit on the Golden Gate Bridge was reduced from 50 to 45 miles per hour, 80 to 72 kilometers per hour, on October 1, 1983. Although there had been discussion concerning the installation of a movable barrier since the 1980s, only in March 2005 did the Bridge Board of Directors commit to finding funding to complete the $2 million study required prior to the installation of a movable median barrier. Installation of the resulting barrier was completed on January 11, 2015, following a closure of 45.5 hours to private vehicle traffic, the longest in the bridge's history. The new barrier system, including the zipper trucks, cost approximately $30.3 million to purchase and install. The bridge carries about 112,000 vehicles per day according to the Golden Gate Bridge Highway and Transportation District. The bridge is popular with pedestrians and bicyclists, and was built with walkways on either side of the 6 vehicle traffic lanes. Initially, they were separated from the traffic lanes by only a metal curb, but railings between the walkways and the traffic lanes were added in 2003, primarily as a measure to prevent bicyclists from falling into the roadway. The bridge was designated as part of U.S. Bicycle Route 95 in 2021. The main walkway is on the eastern side, and is open for use by both pedestrians and bicycles in the morning to mid-afternoon during weekdays, 5 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., and to pedestrians only for the remaining daylight hours, until 6 p.m., or 9 p.m. during DST. The eastern walkway is reserved for pedestrians on weekends, 5 a.m. to 6 p.m., or 9 p.m. during DST, and is open exclusively to bicyclists in the evening and overnight, when it is closed to pedestrians. The western walkway is open only for bicyclists and only during the hours when they are not allowed on the eastern walkway. Bus service across the bridge is provided by one public transportation agency, Golden Gate Transit, which runs numerous bus lines throughout the week. The southern end of the bridge, near the toll plaza and parking lot, is also accessible daily from 5:30 a.m. to midnight by San Francisco Muni Line 28. Muni formerly offered Saturday and Sunday service across the bridge on the Marin Headlands Express bus line, but this was indefinitely suspended due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Marin Airport, a private company, also offers service across the bridge between Marin County and San Francisco International Airport. A visitor center and gift shop, originally called the Bridge Pavilion, since renamed the Golden Gate Bridge Welcome Center, is located on the San Francisco side of the bridge, adjacent to the southeast parking lot. It opened in 2012, in time for the bridge's 75th anniversary celebration. A cafe, outdoor exhibits, and restroom facilities are located nearby. On the Marin side of the bridge, only accessible from the northbound lanes, is the H. Dana Bauer Rest Area and Vista Point, named after the first landscape architect for the California Division of Highways. Lands and waters under and around the bridge are homes to varieties of wildlife such as bobcats, harbor seals, and sea lions. 3 species of cetaceans, whales, that had been absent in the area for many years have shown recoveries and recolonizations in the vicinity of the bridge as of 2017. Researchers studying them have encouraged stronger protections and recommended that the public watch them from the bridge or from land, or use a local whale watching operator. Since the late 1970s, the Golden Gate Bridge has seen a share of protest rallies throughout its history. In some cases, participants staged public stunts to draw heightened attention to their political messages by haphazardly scaling the bridge. On November 24, 1996, actor Woody Harrelson joined a group of local environmentalists who draped a large banner above the roadway deck protesting CEO Charles Hurwitz over his aggressive logging advances. The incident snarled traffic and caused delays lasting the entire day. As an effort to deter any more disruptive stunts, a legislation authored by State Senator Quinton Kopp and signed into law by Governor Pete Wilson in 1997, stiffened penalties for trespassing on the bridge. Nonetheless, demonstrations have continued to take place on the Golden Gate Bridge over the years, often resulting in the complete shutdown of the bridge. Notably, on June 6, 2020, protesters occupied the bridge as part of a nationwide denunciation to police brutality in the wake of the George Floyd's murder, and in November 2021 2 California Highway Patrol officers and 3 bridge employees were injured in a vehicular chain reaction crash during a protest against government-mandated COVID-19 vaccinations. In February 2024 and again in April, pro-Palestinian protesters gathered on the deck to decry the Gaza war and the turmoil afflicting Palestinians in Gaza. The Golden Gate Bridge was the most used suicide site in the world prior to the installation of suicide prevention nets. Jumpers would fall for 4 seconds, then hit the water at around 75 miles per hour, 120 kilometers per hour, 30 mph. Most would die from impact trauma. About 5% would survive the initial impact but generally drown or die of hypothermia in the cold water. After years of debate and an estimated more 2,000 deaths, implementation of suicide prevention barriers began in April 2017. The so-called nets are taut, designed to be painful to land on. They extend 20 feet, 6.1 m, out from the walkway and because of their design, cause serious but not fatal injury to people who jump from the bridge. They are made of marine-grade stainless steel wire rope, akin to a horizontal fence 4 mm thick, which does not give, and is located 20 feet, 6.1 m, below the walkway. Construction was first estimated to take approximately 4 years at a cost of over $200 million, however, installation of the nets was not completed until January 2024, and exceeded the budget by $17 million. The nets have widely been considered successful, even convincing former skeptics. As of November 21, 2024, the Golden Gate Bridge Highway and Transportation District reported that the number of deaths by suicide year to date had been 8, down from an average 33.5. Through the end of October 2024, thwarted attempts were down from an annual average of 200 to 106. Thank you for watching this video.